It's time for another North Carolina Tar Heels basketball podcast here on TarHeelIllustrated.com. I'm THI publisher Andrew Jones, and we've got breaking news for you. Carolina's roster for the 2024-25 season was set. It was set in stone, ready to roll, everything was good. But then recently, Tyzhaun Claude from Georgia Tech was granted a waiver by the NCAA, given one more year of eligibility. He had entered the portal back in the spring, but nobody really communicated much with him because he had to get the waiver first. He got the waiver. There's been some conversations with North Carolina, and he has now announced that he is transferring to UNC for his final year of college eligibility. 6'8", 226 pounds, although he looks a little beefier than that. Out of Goldsboro, North Carolina. So he's a local guy, went to Goldsboro High School, then he spent a year at Moravian Prep, and quite frankly, he's very well traveled. He originally went to Morehead State out of college. Then he transferred to Western Carolina. Then he transferred to Georgia Tech, where he spent last season. And now he will play his final year at North Carolina. I'm going to go into some of his numbers, and then I'm going to talk about what kind of player he is and why, because I've watched a lot of film of him. I've seen him play in person. I was in Atlanta last year when the Yellow Jackets beat Carolina. He played 28 minutes that night because Bayongo got hurt early in the game, so he played a lot and played well. So a couple of numbers to throw out to you about Tyzhaun Claude. He's played 102 games in his college career. By the way, he turned 24 in July. 102 games in his college career, 2,092 minutes, and he started 51 times. He started 4 times, I believe, at Georgia Tech. 944 points, 639 rebounds, 63 blocks. He shot 53.9% from the floor, 64.9% for the free throw line. Goes to the free throw line a lot. Draws a lot of fouls. At career averages, 9.3 points, 6.3 rebounds. He's had 15 double-doubles in his career, 10-plus points, double figures 44 times, 15-plus points 26 times, 20 or more points 5 times in his career, and he's grabbed 10 or more rebounds 19 times in his career. I noted the Carolina game last year. He played 28 minutes in Georgia Tech's 74-73 win in Atlanta. He had 9 points, 8 rebounds, 3 block shots, 4 for 8 from the floor, hit his only free throw. He had a conventional three-point play with about 5+ minutes left that put Tech up by 8, and he had 2 block shots at around the 4.5-minute mark and the 2.5-minute mark of that game that were huge in the Yellow Jackets getting the upset win over the Tar Heels. In that game, he rotated defending Jalen Washington. When he was in there, he defended Jalen Withers some. He also defended Armando Bacot some as well. I'll get more into the kind of player he is after I read you guys a few more numbers. I know this is numbers heavy. Sometimes they weigh you down, but just bear with me here because we're painting a picture about Tyzhaun Claude. At Georgia Tech last year, he played 20 or more minutes in 12 games, 15+ minutes 19 times. He had 8 or more rebounds in 6 ACC games, and he led Georgia Tech with 78 offensive rebounds. And mind you, he was 8th in minutes. So he's 8th in minutes on the team, but he led them with 78 offensive rebounds, and he had 87 defensive rebounds. So he's nearly 50-50 there, offensive, defensive boards. He's a very good offensive rebounder. A couple other games of note last year. In Georgia Tech's win over Duke, he played 16 minutes, had 4 points and 8 rebounds. In Georgia Tech's narrow loss at Clemson, 38 minutes, 9 points, 8 rebounds, 2 blocks. And then in a win over Florida State, 23 minutes, 8 points, 10 rebounds. His ACC averages last year, 18.1 minutes, 4.3 points, 5 rebounds. And at times, he really helped Georgia Tech. There were times he played 8 to 10 minutes, didn't produce a whole lot. I think in a lot of cases, he had situational playing time. Like the North Carolina game, the Clemson game, he was called on to play a lot. The Florida State game played more than what his average minutes per game was, which was around 17. All right, so what kind of player is he? How can he help North Carolina? Why is this happening? First of all, he's a bit of a grinder. What he does at 6'8" is he doesn't play real long. Van Allen Lubin is 6'8", and he's got a 7'1" wingspan and plays that way. From what I've seen from Tyzhaun Claude, he does not play a whole lot longer than 6'8". But what he does do is he's got a body, he's got strength. He will hip you. He will rear end you. He will chest you. He will drive a guy off the lower blocks defensively. He is an excellent offensive rebounder. He's very good at getting position. And one of the things I've noticed watching a lot of his film from last year, and I basically watched Georgia Tech stuff against ACC teams because I thought that was the most telling, is he got a lot of offensive rebounds in position to go right back up and score. If you played basketball at any decent level, you had coaches that said square to the basket. You're going in square to the basket. He gets offensive rebounds already squared to the basket a lot and goes right up and scores. So he's got a knack for doing that. Another thing that he does well and had to at Georgia Tech, because with Damon Stoudemire as the head coach, they played a lot of 5-out. They played a lot of NBA stuff. So they had forwards in what some people term the dunking spot, the dunker spot. So he would play in the corner a lot or up top, and he would roll. He'd either cut from the corner, follow a guard, or cut, do some backdoor stuff, or up top, he would set a screen and he would roll. And he got a lot of baskets that way. In fact, in the Carolina game, I think it was, he got a pick and roll for a dunk, and then he got a pick and roll again a moment later, didn't score, maybe should have drawn a foul. So he's got decent feet. He moves well. He's economical with this movement, and he's able to get to the rim. He doesn't seem super explosive, not a super bouncy guy. And like I said, he's not a guy that's going to play way above the rim. He's not going to play much longer than 6'8", but he brings a bit of a nasty edge to the floor. He's a guy that can throw some stuff around. He's a guy that's going to walk in and just kick chairs around. And I think that that's a healthy component to have for a team that has big aspirations. Also, in talking to some sources close to him, one of the things we have learned is that he understands this is a reserve role. He understands that North Carolina is looking just to add another piece. When he became available, let's add that piece. He's an experienced guy. He's an older guy. He's a college graduate. He can do the dirty work and embraces the dirty work. And he's someone that will come in, and if he gets 7 minutes one night and 15 the next, he's not going to complain. For him, considering his basketball path, coming through Goldsboro, barely recruited out of high school, Morehead State, Western Carolina. By the way, he was a third-team All-Southern Conference at Western Carolina, had a really good year a couple of years ago. And then Georgia Tech, 8th in minutes at Georgia Tech. So you got to figure maybe 8th, 9th in minutes at North Carolina. But what he does is he gives Hubert Davis a little bit more cushion in the lane. If someone gets hurt, there's an experienced guy you can go to for a while. That's what happened in the Carolina game last year when Ongo got hurt. And then Claude stepped in and played 28 minutes. And he's also a guy that's going to be a really good practice player, and he understands that's part of the role. And just in case, maybe Zayden High isn't quite ready for the third guy in the rotation minutes. We know that James Brown isn't going to be ready. David's been saying all along, he's a little bit of a project. It's going to take some time. So if you look at it, you've got Lubin, you've got Jay Wash, and now you've got Claude. Withers can stay at the 4. He can still do some stuff at the 5, but he's a lot more comfortable at the 4. So maybe you reduce his time at the 5. And now the 4 suddenly is a Withers / Tyson / Powell, if you will, combination. I think this gives Hubert flexibility. I think this allows him to not put guys in position of playing out of position a little bit, as much as perhaps he would have, especially if there was some foul trouble at the 5 spot. So this is an interesting pickup. It's a good pickup. It's a why not pickup. I mean, why not? The kid wants to come. He understands what his role is going to be. It's a 1-year investment. It's not going to affect recruiting in any way, shape, or form. Why not go get a guy like this? I've made in the past the Justin Knox comparison from the 2011 team. He could do stuff like that. What Justin Knox did for that team when he came in after graduating from Alabama, played about 10, 11 minutes a game and was very happy doing so. I see Tyzhaun Claude doing somewhat of the same thing for North Carolina. If you're excited about Carolina adding another piece to the basketball puzzle, go ahead and click like on this video. If you haven't watched this guy's video and you're excited to watch it, go ahead and click like on this video. I could list 1,000 things. Just click like on the video. We love when y'all click like on the video. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. Hit that notification bell so you get updates every time we upload a video. And David and I will do some stuff on Tyzhaun Claude soon. We will do some stuff on Now the Roster is Final soon. And David will probably have some film work stuff for you as well. Oh, make sure you tell your Carolina Tar Heel friends we are here. Send them our way. I'm AJ, and I appreciate you guys stopping by.